Max Verstappen is only 25 years old, but he has already had a Formula One career that has been nothing short of phenomenal, and it is only going to get better. He has won 2 Formula One World Championships and surpassed many F1 records since his debut. So what do other Formula One drivers think of Max Verstappen? Do you want to find out? Then stay tuned. Max Verstappen has matured and grown over the years. The most significant development that we have observed in Verstappen over the past few years is the maturity that he now adds to that incredible natural speed of his. The Verstappen of 2022 is still incredibly fast, but he rarely makes any errors. The Verstappen of 2022 is aware of when it is appropriate to take chances and when it is time to complete one of those seemingly impossible overtakes. The Verstappen of 2022 is a dominating force. Verstappen's performance this season has been amazing, despite the fact that his season actually got off to such a terrible start when reliability issues plagued Red Bull. The Dutch driver had to pull out of 2 of the first 3 races due to mechanical issues, and as a direct result, Leclerc was able to win both of those races. But since then, this season has all been a Max Verstappen show, as he has dominated the grid. Here are what F1 drivers have to say about the Dutch driver. Lando Norris. McLaren driver Lando Norris, who was on the podium alongside Max Verstappen back in April at the Imola race, praised Max Verstappen as being one of the fastest drivers in the history of Formula One. Norris said, "He's done a pretty good job. He should maybe have a go in our car and see what it's like. It's done amazing and has been very impressive, similar to Lewis in previous years. He is one of the most talented drivers ever to come into Formula One, one of the fastest. No doubt he is going to win his 2nd title this year, and most likely he will go on to win a few more in the future. Even in FP1, FP2, FP3, he's never under the limit. He's always pushing the limit. Even FP1, the first lap of the whole day, his lap times are normally quicker than what we ever do in qualifying." Norris continued to praise Verstappen, remarking that the Dutchman is constantly on the limit. The British driver concluded by saying that Verstappen is one of the most gifted drivers to come into Formula One, as well as one of the fastest. Pierre Gasly. Another F1 driver that has spoken about Max Verstappen is Pierre Gasly. Gasly raced throughout the first half of the 2019 season for Red Bull alongside Verstappen, after which he was swiftly moved back to Toro Rosso, Red Bull's sister team, which is now AlphaTauri. While Gasly attempts to rebuild his career in Formula One, Verstappen has made a mark in the sport. Reflecting on their respective journeys, Gasly took his hat off to the excellent Verstappen for the success he is now achieving. Gasly said, "I've been racing with Max for the past 15 years, even before Formula One. It's been always intense to race against him. That's what I always loved. The battles we've had in the past, the close racing. He's obviously extremely talented. He's excellent. I think the experience and the combination of what he built with Red Bull Racing is just an incredibly efficient package." Although Verstappen showed great performance from the beginning of his F1 career, several of his competitors questioned his attitude toward racing. As a result, a so-called Verstappen rule was implemented at one point to prevent moving under braking. Gasly believes that since then, Verstappen has matured into an all-around better driver. Gasly said he was probably a bit raw when he came into F1, very aggressive, and made a couple of mistakes at the start, even if he was always super competitive. But I think now, over the last few years, he has just completely proven his potential. He is barely making any mistakes and delivering weekends in and out, and really performing at the best of what Red Bull provides him. It's very impressive, but as I said, always entertaining to race against him, and I hope to have some really good and intense battles in the future against him. Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz has joined his voice to the chorus of admirers praising Max Verstappen after the Dutchman won his 2nd Formula One championship. Sainz has commented on how much he feels his former teammate has progressed over the years. Asked for his take on Verstappen's success, which includes a record 14 wins in 2022 so far, Sainz said, "I don't think I need to give any more praise to Max for what he's done this year, because I think it's pretty obvious that he's done a very good job. Everyone can see how good he has performed and how well he's executed this season, especially after not an easy start of the season with a couple of DNFs, how they managed to recover and put it together a lot of wins, and a lot of good moments throughout the year. They kept it consistent and strong in the areas where we haven't been able to be that strong. Congratulations to him, congratulations to Red Bull, because they fully deserve it." When asked if he feels Verstappen has evolved as a driver since they were teammates, Sainz added, "For sure. I think 8 years in Formula One is a lot of years in Formula One. And since day one of Formula One to year 8, you evolve massively. For sure, he's evolved in every single area. There is not one area where you haven't evolved. And the way that he's managed to keep doing step by step, improving everything, because there's nothing that we cannot improve in 8 years. It's fair play to him, and now he's maximizing also having a competitive car, which is something that you need in Formula One in order to win. If not, you're never going to win." Sergio Perez. The Mexican race car driver has proven to be a good recruit for Red Bull and is expected to remain with the team for at least the next 2 racing seasons. And given how highly he regards Verstappen, it is clear that he is enjoying working with the current World Championship leader. Perez believes that the Dutch driver should already be considered amongst the very finest drivers to have ever competed in Formula 1. Perez said, "Max is very good and he is a very complete driver. He is, without a doubt, one of the best in the history of Formula 1, if not the best, for everything, for his education, and because he has things that other Formula 1 drivers do not have." The special thing about Max is the ease of going to the limit. Max goes to the limit from the first lap. Every change he makes to the car is important, and it's not that he changes his conditioning style, he always goes to the limit. Daniel Ricciardo, a former driver for Red Bull, commented not only on Max Verstappen's performance this season, but also on how the Dutch driver has developed over the course of his career. According to Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen made huge improvements in his performances during their third season working together at Red Bull. Ricciardo believes that Verstappen has found a new maturity that has moved his career forward. After Max won his first F1 World Championship, Ricciardo stated he was not surprised to see Verstappen eventually win the title, given the close battles he was involved in with the Dutchman. The McLaren driver explained, "Being teammates with Max, I knew that we were pushing each other to a pretty high level. I knew that whilst we were teammates, even though we weren't world champions, I felt like, with the way we were driving, it could have given us the world title in some of those years, at least one." So to see him do it after, for me, it's not a surprise. For sure, it's nice for me to know that we had a pretty close battle for those years that we were teammates. But I didn't really need to see him win the title to show that to myself. I feel like I really have felt or known that for a while. It was kind of a matter of time for him to get a title for sure. Now, over to you. What are your thoughts about Max Verstappen? Let us know in the comment section below.